Hi guys, this is Mosh. Welcome back to another one. If you're new here, click on that subscribe button. Today I'm going to do a full review of Trading 212. I'll start with the CFD aspect, and then I'll move on to the invest and the ISA accounts, because I think there's a lot more to talk about the CFD element of the app than there is the other parts. Trading 212 was founded in Bulgaria and is regulated by the Bulgarian authorities, and especially important the UK regulators, the FCA, the Financial Conduct Authority. What that means for you as a retail trader, £85,000 of your money is protected under the FCA. I'm gonna go through the advantages and disadvantages of the CFD aspect. Now, the first thing is CFD, it allows trading on margin and it's commission free. That's a big selling point of Trading 212. Where we're doing CFDs, invest or ISA, is all commission free. A lot of other brokers, they charge a fee per transaction. It allows anyone to trade on margin. If you're not sure what that means, check out my video on CFDs and it'll explain A to Z everything that you need to know and how trading on margin works. I'll link it in the description box below, so check it out or check out the card. Retail traders get a leverage of about 1 to 30 or up to 1 to 30. And professional traders get a leverage of 1 to 300. I would highly recommend sticking to the retail trade account because it has something called negative balance protection. You can't lose any more money than the value that's in your account. That's the maximum you can ever lose. Whereas a professional, you can lose a lot more than that. So stick to what you know, basically. I'm going to go into the app and show you the user interface. I think Trading 212 has probably one of the best user interfaces out of many brokers and apps that I've used. So if you go into it, the first thing, it comes up with your tabs. So you've got my watch list, your foreign exchange, indices, stocks, anything that's new that's come up on Trading 212. Okay, ETFs, upcoming earnings. Now, if I was to go into a company, let's say I go into EasyJet, it gives you your graph, and obviously the market's closed today. You can change the time frame to 5 minutes, 15, 30, 1 hour, 1 day. Okay. Now, if you open up the graph, you can actually do a lot more. So you can do all your technical analysis. You can change it to bar charts. Okay. So it shows you the bars. This is all your indicators. So if you want an exponential moving average, okay, you can set your period. So if I set it to 20-day period, okay, you can change the color. All right, and that will plot your indicators. You can also do drawings on it, which I find very useful. And one thing I like about Trading 212, especially with the mobile app, the drawings don't tend to mess around a lot and they stay where you've drawn your drawings. They don't move around or there's no bugs involved. So I found the drawing tool is really good on Trading 212. So you can draw your trend lines. Okay, again, you can change a color, whatever color you want it at. Okay, so it's very useful, the indicator and the technical analysis side. Now, one thing I also like about Trading 212 is they give you an overview of company details. So a lot of other apps and brokers I've used, I've had to use secondary apps like Yahoo Finance to find this information. So what they do, they've given you a company detail, what the whole company is about, the CEO, number of employees, you know, main headlines, the market cap. All right, then this is really important, and I use this a lot. It's the ratios. So you can look at the price and volume ratios, per share data, okay? All the ratios that you need for your fundamental analysis, it's all there in the app, okay? Valuations, growth, earnings per share, okay? Everything's there. Also, you have the income statement. The only thing I don't like, they only have it for like maximum 5 years. You can't go back any further than that. So you can look at the full income statement, the quarterly statements, again, which is really important if you're doing fundamental analysis, which I do a lot. You also have the balance sheet. So if you go into the balance sheet for the last few years, it will give you the information, the assets, the liabilities, okay? Any other relevant information. And then lastly, which I think is one overlooked, is cash flow statement. Okay, again, you can see how much cash they've got in the bank account, where the cash has been going. So again, very, very useful. Okay, now we're talking about the CFD element. Now in the CFD element, it's contracts of difference. So you don't actually own the stock. There's a couple of important bits that you need to know about. For example, what the margin is, the overnight funding costs, okay, all those points. So if you go right at the bottom and go to instrument details, it's giving you the ticker name. The leverage for EasyJet is 1 to 5, okay? So it's a 20% margin. So whatever the total value of the shares that you've got, you're only paying 20% as a deposit, okay? Another important thing is the short position swap. So if you've gone short or you sold it, so you think the price is going to go down, okay, that's the amount you have to pay in overnight funding, okay, per one share. So 0.0010, okay. So you just have to times that by the number of shares you've got, and that's your cost per overnight funding, okay, per day. The long position swap, okay, so 0.063. So you just times it up by the amount of shares that you have, and that will give you the value for your overnight funding. And the swap time for EasyJet is at 10 o'clock. Now to buy and sell is very, very simple. On the mobile app, you just put in the number of shares that you want. Obviously this is a dummy account that I'm using. So you put your numbers there, however much you have, okay, then you buy or sell. Now that's just an overview of the interface and a couple of key points for the CFD that you need to look out. However, recently this has happened and this caught me out and I had to sell at a loss. Trading 212 is a private company, and it also in its terms and conditions states that it can change its margin requirement. So there's a massive issue, massive hoo-ha on the forums, on the app, even on Twitter as well. I was really pissed off with them. Less than 24 hours notice, they said they're going to change the margin requirements for all stocks to 1 to 2. So let's say you pay 10% or 20% deposit for a stock. Okay, let's say it was worth £1,000. So that £1,000, you only put £200 down to trade those 1,000 CFDs. Now what they did was they changed for every single stock to a 1 to 2 ratio. Imagine that, to with less than 24 hours notice. So what that meant was that £1,000 that you worth of CFDs you bought for £200, now you would have to pay £500 to hold those £1,000 worth of CFDs. So you can see a lot of people's accounts would have been blown up. So for me to protect myself and protect my account being blown up, I had to sell at a little bit of a loss, okay? Because if I didn't, then my whole account would have been wiped out, because they close the positions automatically if you get to your margin call. For me, I have lost a lot of trust in Trading 212 for doing that, because they're just messing people around. Less than 24 hours notice, you're telling people that you're going to change your margin requirements. Come on, sort it out. Okay, another thing on Trading 212, the CFD element you have to watch out for is the spread. The spread is the difference of the buy and the sell price, okay? Now this is where Trading 212 make their money. That difference goes to Trading 212. Now one thing I really hate about Trading 212, it's a big disadvantage, is on the instrument detail, they don't tell you what the spread is, and they call it a dynamic spread, so they can change it based on volatility. Normally, if the market is very volatile or a certain stock is very volatile, they'll make the spread so ridiculous, there's no point even trading it. But one thing I hate is you have to work it out. I literally have to get a calculator out and minus the buy and the sell price to work out the spread. I don't understand why they can't just put it on the app. Even if it does change daily, why not put it in the instrument detail what the spread is for that day? Come on, easy fix, sort it out. Next, we're going to look at the ISA account and the invest account. They're pretty much similar, but if you're in the UK, you get £20,000 tax-free allowance if you put it into the ISA account. So I would recommend, and personally that's what I do, most of my holdings are in the ISA account. Anything that's not available in the ISA account, I've got in my invest account. Now, again, as you can see, it's very similar to the CFDs, where the overview is still the same. If I go into an app, okay, let's go into Uber. Again, you've got your technical analysis. You can open up the graph and do your technical analysis of it. Okay, it gives you an overview of the company, what Uber is all about. and it gives you your ratios, your financials, income statement, balance sheet, cash flow statement, okay? All those points. So it's exactly the same, but this time all you're doing is you're buying the actual stock of that company instead of a contracts for difference. So you own it. So if a company pays dividends, you get dividends for it as well. Everyone that I've used is the best because commission free, and Trading 212 also do give away free shares, which I've received a few. If you do want a free share, use my link in the description box below and you get a free share worth up to £100 as soon as you open your account. So definitely go do that. Now, overall, to summarize, I think the ISA Invest account is very good because commission free, and I've not really had any issues with that. The biggest issues has been in the CFD side. Changing margins. There was an issue where there was a bit of downtime. During high volatility, they limit the number of shares that you have or stop it completely, or they have ridiculous spreads. So I think if you're doing the Invest or ISA account, there's no issues at all. If you're doing the CFD element, I say you have to be very, very careful and make sure you know what you're doing. I trade CFDs, I trade on margin, it's my bread and butter. But for those that are new into it, be very careful in trading CFDs. I hope you enjoyed this summary of Trading 212. Please go like and subscribe, as it allows me to see what type of content you guys enjoy.